South Mountain is a quiet state park in western Maryland. Each year thousands of hikers walk the Appalachian Trail segment connecting Fox Gap with Turner's Gap. But in the late summer of 1862, South Mountain was the scene of a battle that set the stage for the cataclysmic battle at Antietam just 3 days later. Antietam, the bloodiest single day in American military history. Lee had invaded Maryland on the 3rd of September of 1862, immediately after the Second Battle of Bull Run. The purpose of the invasion was to hopefully get a military victory on northern soil and speed the political recognition of the southern cause by European powers. Also, Lee was hoping to gain recruits from the Maryland populace and feed his army. Originally, Lee had anticipated that the federal garrison at Harper's Ferry would withdraw. When they didn't, Lee had an opportunity to surround and capture the garrison. Realizing this, he seized this opportunity by dividing his army and sending Jackson and McLaws to surround Harper's Ferry, while Longstreet continued on to Hagerstown. Unfortunately for Lee, a copy of his orders was found outside of Frederick, Maryland, by two Union soldiers, Corporal Mitchell and Sergeant Bloss of Indiana. They immediately sent these orders to McClellan, who, realizing that Lee's army was divided, moved quickly, at least for McClellan, moved quickly to cut off part of Lee's army. To do so, McClellan had to pass through South Mountain, a piece of blocking terrain that shielded Lee's army from the Union Army of the Potomac. This set the stage for the Battle of South Mountain on 14 September 1862. This video will cover the Union attack on the Union's extreme left by the 9th Corps led by General Reno. Specifically, this video will be covering the attack by Brigadier General Cox's Kanawha Division on the extreme Union left, which attempted to flank the Confederate right. We're going to start by doing a quick battlefield walk. We've started here at where the Sharpsburg Road splits from the road leading to the National Road, which is currently US 40. And moving basically to the northwest, we see it's a fairly heavily wooded bit of terrain. Looking to the north, we see a road leading north and south, which is now the current Appalachian Trail, right along the crest of the mountain. There's also an open field here, directly in front of us. This is the field that historically the 9th Corps assaulted up. You'll see a lot of stone walls, which the Confederates in the real battle used very effectively for defense. And the crest of the mountain is obviously heavily wooded. And we're still moving north along the crest. And this is the ground that, for the scenario, I'm going to be attacking across. As you can see here on this map. I will probably try to want to avoid going across that open terrain as the Union commanders did historically. It's dead ground. It's uphill and it's open. Now we're moving towards Fox Gap, and basically in a northwesterly direction. Looking east across the valley. That's where the Union forces are deployed from. They'll be coming up through this valley here. And now we're looking at Fox Gap itself, looking east. Going back just to take a quick look at Turner's Gap. And this is the view that would generally have been seen by General Hooker as he prepared for his attack on Turner's Gap. We're right here in this, along the National Pike, US 40 now, looking up into the mountain, or looking up at the mountain. And the terrain is more open here, while still very hilly and with a lot of stone fences. There's fewer trees, which is going to make any attack across this area tougher. Fortunately, though, for this scenario, we don't have to worry about that. And this is Turner's Gap along the National Road. And we're moving through Turner's Gap. And moving south now along the northwestern face of the mountain. We're approaching Fox Gap from the west here. And that's the Sharpsburg Road leading through Fox Gap. And we're going through Fox Gap right now along the Sharpsburg Road. And that road coming from our right and to our left that we just went over, that's what is now the Appalachian Trail. Back along the general Confederate lines back toward the Union 9th Corps. The Kanawha Division started its attack. Okay, we're going to start this scenario. It's 9 o'clock on September 14th. We're at Fox Gap. I'm leading Cox's division. We have 2 brigades. It's sunny, and I have an unknown Confederate force ahead of me. These are my orders for the scenario. I'm supposed to move along this wood road to the south of the field and then seize these 4 victory hexes, these starred hexes on the west to north side of the field. That represents control of Fox Gap. My forces for this scenario is the Kanawha Division, led by Brigadier General Cox. It's 3,100 men, a pretty good unit for the Union Army at this time. The Kanawha Division consists of 2 brigades. The 1st Brigade under Colonel Scammon has 1,000 men, while the 2nd Brigade under Colonel Crook has double that, 2,000 men. Unfortunately, the 2nd Brigade starts a little further to the east of the 1st, near Menser's Mill. Means it's going to take a while to get it into position to support the 1st Brigade. I also have two 10-pound Parrott guns under the command of Lieutenant Crome. He's also near Menser's Mill, so it's going to take him a while to get up the hill and into supporting distance. Next, I'm going to take a quick look at the units making up the 1st and 2nd Brigade. 1st Brigade has the 12th Ohio. It's an excellent unit, elite. Only 230 men, though, so it's rather small. There's also the 23rd Ohio, a volunteer unit. It's 440 men, a little bit larger, well armed. The 23rd Ohio had the distinction of having two U.S. presidents, or two future U.S. presidents, serving in it. The first was its commanding officer, General Rutherford Hayes. He was a lieutenant colonel at the time of this battle and was wounded. He appears to be a good officer. He finished up the war as brevet major general. The second future U.S. president in the 23rd Ohio was William McKinley. At the time of this battle, he was a sergeant. He was a quartermaster for the unit, and he served in that role throughout the Antietam campaign. He eventually became commissioned as a result of his bravery at Antietam, and ended up the war as brevet major. The final unit in the 1st Brigade is the 30th Ohio. It's rated as a militia unit, 380 men. Moving on to the 2nd Brigade, we have the 11th Ohio, volunteer quality, 450 men. Once again, it's armed with a model 1842 musket. The 28th Ohio with 780 men. It's a large unit, and it's also only rated though as a militia, so it will be a little bit more challenged. The 36th Ohio of the 2nd Brigade has 800 men though, and it's a seasoned unit, the best. So just to recap my deployments, I'm going to have the 1st Brigade actually not follow the woods road. I want them in the woods to get them some cover. So they're going to take a little bit of a circuitous route through the woods, hopefully to remain concealed. Moving on to the 2nd Brigade, I would ideally like to have this unit be my anvil, have it do what the 1st Brigade is doing, but I can't. That's because it starts off too far south. So I'm going to go ahead and move it along the road to position due south of the wood line of the field. It's going to be my anvil. Because of its larger size, it'd make a more effective attacking force, but I just don't have the time. This scenario only has 45 minutes for the Union to achieve a victory, and to move this unit into a position to the west of the Confederate positions would just take too long. So I'll have it start off south of the victory hexes, or the victory positions, and probe to a northerly direction.